From physics to psychic is just a quantum leap. For the next hour, Santa Barbara author and psychic Pam Oslie is ready to take your call at 564-1290.
Pam provides valuable insight into your personal world,
Your relationships, and how you can be more consciously aware of creating the life you want, the life you deserve. Call now, 564-1290, and make the leap.
Welcome to the Pamela Oslie Hour. Thank you for joining us, and I want to thank all of you who have been focusing and visioning and sending us energy for rain in California. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to comment, please bring more in here, okay? I know that everybody gets scared of the El Nino and everyone's so afraid it's going to overdo it and we're going to have floods and mudslides. So then you've slowed it down. We don't need it slowed down. We need it full out, so it's really okay. Don't be afraid. So thank you so much for visualizing a lot of rain on the West Coast, okay? We really need it. We need snow. We need rain. Well, don't bring snow to Santa Barbara, okay? I like the snow, but not in Santa Barbara, okay? So thank you for doing that. We have a fantastic guest on the show. Don't you love it when we bring these very interesting guests on the show, Mark? Huh? Well, this one's very cool. He's going to be another speaker at the Conscious Life Expo down in Los Angeles. We'll talk about what he's going to be talking about later. But tonight we have Joseph Ernest Martin on the show. He is a professional psychic. He's been a reader for more than 25 years. He travels a lot of the circuit. He's a featured speaker, at the San Francisco New Living Expo, the Psychic Health Fair. He's got a show that's very cool. We're going to talk about it too online called Paranormal Insights, who has just won for the 5th time the Video Excellence Award. So we're going to have to talk to him about that. He's agreed to do a few predictions. We're going to talk to him about his tarot deck. We've got a full show of different things he's going to talk about, including his different topics down at the Conscious Life Expo, including a divination panel on can we heal the crack in reality. All of this stuff is things I find completely fascinating. So Joseph Ernest Martin, and you can go to his website, Quest Tarot, Quest, and then Tarot, questtarot.com, if you want to check the guy out, see what we're talking about. So Joseph, welcome to the show.
Well, I'm so thrilled to be with you.
Well, you are a busy boy, and I've watched a bunch of your videos on YouTube. People can go there. He talks about what we're going to get into later, the holographic universe. But let's get a little bit into your background about how you got started. You started out as a skeptic, and you became amazed and interested in psychic abilities after, one, having a reading that helped change your life, and then you had a psychic event while you were on the road that literally saved your life. So, Joseph, fill us in a little bit about your background.
Well, my grandmother was a psychic. She was actually very Roman Catholic, so she would call it filled with the Holy Spirit. And she did psychic stuff as well as healing. And so for me growing up, it was never too far out of the baseball park for me to feel connected to that psychic energy or ability. It wasn't until I was 23 that I had an event in my life that I actually felt changed my life and saved my life. I was actually driving in Chico, California here, and I was getting ready to turn into a gas station entrance to get some gas. And as I looked up, I heard a voice in my car, not in my head, but actually in my car, that said, "He doesn't see you." And coming toward the intersection was a fully loaded lumber truck. Well, the truck ran the intersection, and had I started my turn, it would have hit me. Well, when I did turn into the gas station after the truck passed, I experienced this feeling of overwhelming love and joy and peace all at the same time, bigger than anything I'd ever felt here in normal reality. And after that happened, I started seeing balls of energy. I started getting visions. My psychic readings shot up in accuracy. And I decided I really have to look into what this event meant and what it was going to mean for my life.
Now, were you doing readings before this happened, Martin? I'm sorry, Joseph.
Yeah,
I can call you by your last name.
I was studying the tarot,
mm-hmm.
But I hadn't really been doing readings very much. I had just been playing with it.
Mm-hmm. And so what do you think actually happened? Do you feel like you just opened up more because it was a traumatic event, or do you feel like you were more willing to do it? What do you feel happened that all of a sudden your life, your consciousness expanded that much?
Well, I feel like maybe I got to just touch the very edge of heaven, and my angel was able to actually communicate to me. And I think the opening up for me happened because I had an event that I couldn't deny I experienced. And that was big for me.
Yeah, that would be big for anyone, Joseph. So I have is it okay if I call you Joseph, by the way?
Joseph is great.
Oh, good. You don't want me to call you Mary or Tom. So,
yeah.
So Joseph, it seems like there's a lot more of this going on the planet. Are you seeing a shift? Do you believe that other people can have similar experiences? Do you believe that we all have these abilities? Is it only a few? Is it a gift? What's your perception on that?
Well, I think that everyone is psychic. Everyone is born psychic. We come onto the planet connected to this psychic field of energy. Now, whether we decide to accept that or open up to that, that's what allows us to then become more psychic or more connected to that energy.
And what do you feel what's the purpose of your life? Why do you do the work that you do?
Well, I felt so strongly that if you're given a talent, no matter where it is, if it's in art, music, science, you should, use that talent and hopefully use it in a way that betters not only our community locally, but in a bigger sense, our nation and hopefully some of the world. And I decided that for me personally, I was going to figure out what this thing was and how to card that day, and then how to use it to help people make better decisions and choices in their lives. Mm-hmm. And it's been really beautiful. It's been a beautiful experience the last 20 years.
So your goal is to help people. We're going to take a quick commercial break, see if we can fix the sound here. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. You can go to questtarot.com really quick. Check out Joseph Ernest Martin. Also check out YouTube. He's got a lot of videos on YouTube, too, with his work and his show. And stay with us. We'll be right back, and we're going to have all kinds of conversations, including about how you can use a tarot deck that he's designed. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. This is Pam Oslie with you with our special guest today, Joseph Ernest Martin. You can go to his website, questtarot.com, and that's the title of your book also, right?
Yes, Quest Tarot. It's a 80-card tarot deck with a book called The Compass, the Guide to the Quest Tarot.
Now, and you've designed this deck, haven't you?
Yes, it took me about 2.5 years to do all the artwork for the 80 cards that are in the deck, and about 6 months to write the book, and then about 3 months in editing.
Okay, now most people that listen to the show know about tarot, but can you describe first of all, how does tarot work? What's the benefit of it? We might as well discuss this a little bit. And how is your deck any different than some of the other decks that are out there? How can people use this?
Well, the deck is very much updated for modern times. Instead of people in suits of armor riding horses, it actually has really modern archetypes in the deck, like a UFO, a tower that is exploding. And instead of going king, queen, knight, page, like in the court card system, it actually uses a much more familiar archetype, which is family. So it leads with the feminine, which is new, instead of the masculine. So it leads with mother, and then goes mother, father, daughter, son. It also has a yes/no feature. It has the gemstones. It has astrology. It has numerology. It has a Ouija board feature, so you can actually get words, names, and phrases. It's very, very full-featured.
Wow, and you've also got cards in there, one called the Multiverse and one the Blank card. So what are those cards?
Now, the multiverse is a new card to be added into the tarot because the history of tarot is always about adding new things. It started out with, it's debated between 52 and 56 cards. It's made its way up to 78 cards. And now with my deck, it has 80 cards. Multiverse, of course, is like looking at CERN and the Hadron Collider and all the great God particle things they're finding out there. And it also has a blank card, which you can use to either design a card to add into the tarot yourself or to actually read it as a blank card in your reading.
Okay, so let's explain to people how someone would use this tarot deck. What do? They pull cards, they put them out in a pattern. This is for people to help get their own information, right? So they don't have to always go to a psychic or an astrologer. They can actually get the tarot, and then what do they do with it?
Well, I always feel that any tool you use to touch into the divine or psychic energy is a good tool, whether it's tarot or runes or numerology or anything. And so if you have your own tarot deck, you can start becoming familiar with those archetypes, the pictures, what they mean, and then that can help you tap into your own psychic ability and intuition to get messages that can help you make your life better.
So people can ask something like, is this the best job for me, or am I going to find love? What kinds of things can people find out about if they use this deck?
Well, the most popular question ever asked a psychic is about love.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people will use the tarot to ask questions about love in their life and relationships, including even work relationships. This really helps them being able to have a tool to define what that message is, and to have a book with explanations on the cards to help you understand the meanings if you get confused.
So basically, everyone, if you get this deck, and it's called Quest Tarot, right?
The Quest Tarot.
So they can ask a question, they can pull a card out, or you've got a book that describes how to do this, how to lay it out in a pattern to get their answers or where their life is going or for guidance. So, yeah, does it help with predictions?
Absolutely. I found that I'm able to get a lot of information of a predictive nature for people when they come for readings. A lot of times people are asking about, of course, love, money, health, very popular questions, and they really want real answers about those things. They don't want platitudes or fortune cookies. They want to get some real information. And I found that opening up psychically while using the tarot as a tool is a great way to get those answers from the universe into our lives to make it better.
So if somebody comes to you, or you do this on the phone, obviously, too, right?
I do it on the phone, in person. I travel all over the West Coast doing readings.
But you're based up in the Oakland area, right? Up in Northern California.
Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area.
Mm-hmm. So if somebody came to you, you sit in front of them and they say, okay, so give them an example. I mean, there are a few people that have never done a tarot reading. So if they came and said, okay, I want to know about my love life, what are some of the examples that you can share with people? I just want to give people a better idea, if they had a reading with you, what types of things have come through in the past? Like, what's an example of someone you gave a reading to?
Absolutely. Well, just this morning I was doing a reading for a woman who lives in Florida, and she wanted to know about her health. And she just had back surgery, and she was very much concerned about the healing process and the strain it was putting on her relationship. So we looked at those issues, and we found in her reading that the healing process for her was going to be very, very solid, but slow. It's going to take about 8 months before she really noticed good improvement. However, the toll on the relationship was happening now. And so the recommendation from her guides through the tarot and channeled through me was about her having to work on the relationship even though she was still healing her back. And these are things that she needed to know in order to make it understandable and better for her in this process she was going through.
That's very cool. And so if somebody gets the cards, they also want to get the book that goes with it, right? Which is also called Quest Tarot, right?
And it's included together as a kit. So in the one box is the 80-card deck and the 300-page book.
Excellent. So people can kind of give themselves their own readings, and then you teach them what certain things mean. And so
Absolutely.
That they can
It's
start.
all in the book. It makes it as easy as possible. This is a great deck for beginners and a beautiful deck with many, many features for those who have more experience.
Well, one of the fun and cool things that you're doing with this, Joseph, I love that you're helping people get in touch with their own psychic abilities or their own intuition or their own guides by giving them a tool like this, because they can start looking, they can pull their own cards and they can start going, oh, I see what that means because according to the book, this is this. But they can also start becoming intuitive about the messages they're getting when they pull these cards.
Absolutely. And if you're already involved in other kind of systems like astrology or the Kabbalah or the I Ching, my deck actually incorporates those kind of archetypes into it so that you can use what you already know to enhance your experience with this tarot deck.
Mm-hmm. So we are going to be getting into all kinds of topics like, I want to know what this divination panel is at the expo. Can we heal the crack in reality? And also, please, no more crazy people. Before we get into that, I want to talk to you about this online show that is called Paranormal Insights. One of the videos that I watched with you, well, first of all, talk to me about what that show's about.
Well, Paranormal Insights is so much fun. It actually plays in the state of California on regular TV, which is AT&T UVerse Channel 99, and at different Comcast stations and times, depending on what county you're in. This show has won now 5 Video Excellence Awards, so it's actually kind of pretty good. I think a lot of people may enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
We take a look at metaphysical topics in a bright, fun, and under-the-microscope kind of way. So, no demons, no haunted houses, real topics, real information. We also go on location in the show to different venues all across the West Coast and interview different practitioners, authors, and healers to see what's happening right now in the real metaphysical world. And then we do a live on-air reading right at the end from one of our viewer questions and show people what it's like to not only get a reading, but to get an answer, which is even better.
Well, so now we have listeners all over the world. We've got them in Europe and Japan and Africa and Australia, New Zealand. How do they watch this?
So easy. You can watch all the older episodes on YouTube and Vimeo, and also through iVolve TV on the internet.
What was the name of that TV?
iVolve.
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 iVolve. Instead of Evolve, it's iVolve.
Yes.
TV. Oh, that's cool. So that you can watch these online, and they're free, right? Because I watched some of the ones you had posted.
Yes. Because of the agreement for broadcast on television, you can see everything that is on the internet, but anything that is within the first 6 months is still in broadcast.
Okay, so anything that's older than 6 months.
Right.
Okay.
Take a look. Won't cost you anything.
Okay, great. Well, you've got some great topics there. Oh my gosh, we have just a few minutes before we go to commercials. So let's just do this really quick. One of the talks that you're going to be speaking at, so everyone, the Conscious Life Expo is at the LAX Hilton, February 19th through the 22nd. Actually, I think some of the post shows run even later than that. And on Sunday, well, you're doing something on Saturday. We're going to get to that in a second. But on Sunday, February 21st, from 10 to 11 a.m., you're doing a talk called Please No More Crazy People?
Yeah.
Okay, explain to us what that's about, Joseph.
Well, oh my goodness. So many people have come to me for readings about how people in their lives, their bosses, their loved ones, their relatives, even their friends, even strangers, are acting so crazy. Personally, I found that even in my life, I can say good morning to someone, but somehow they hear, go to hell. And I thought, holy cow, why is that happening?
Mm-hmm.
Well, energetically, there really is a change on planet Earth at this time. And in my talk, I'll be outlining what has been happening on the planet energetically and scientifically energetically that is causing people to kind of go off tilt and off center. Some people joke that you can really see this effect a lot right now in Donald Trump and what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to talk about also in here, neutralize negative people fast, like learn techniques to how to stop the negativity in its tracks and not be hooked by other people's, behavior. So like, okay, can you give us a little hint here? Why are people so crazy right now? You said there's a shift going on in the consciousness on the planet. What does that mean, Joseph?
Well, we know that we've changed from the Mayan calendar into a new age. We've left the age of power, depending on the word of interpretation in Mayan, to the age of no secrets, or the age of ethics. And that was right around 1220, 2012. We also are leaving the Piscean age, which is masculine, and we're entering the Aquarian age, which is feminine. And that change of ages and that change of energy really is a big deal. Now, there's some debate on exactly where to draw that line in the sand, but I think pretty much everyone agrees that we're entering the age of Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
With that happening, we're also noticing that the Earth's wobble is actually off more than it ever has been in recorded history, and it's causing the planet to vibrate at a different vibration. If that's not enough, we also have the things that are happening at CERN, which, they doubled the power of that 17-mile-long super collider out there in Switzerland. And they said just recently that one of the experiments they were using was to actually send a message to a parallel or alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of energetic things going on the planet that are mind-blowing, and not everybody is responding to those energetic changes well. As a matter of fact, lower vibrational people are having the worst time of it.
Mm-hmm. So what do we do to not be, can you just give us one or two little steps of what we can do not to either raise the vibration so we're not affected by it, or to sidestep, or to, what do you recommend we do about that, Joseph? And I know you're doing a whole talk on it at the Conscious Life Expo, but again, people in Europe and Africa, they're not going to be able to go to the expo probably. How can you help us?
Yes. Well, I actually outline all different kinds of personality types and what to do with each one of those different types of abrasive personalities. The easiest first thing to do, and maybe the hardest, is not to take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
Try to look at that difficult person as the observer in your life, as well as you being the participant. You're the observer and participant at the same moment. And when they attack you, when they say the mean or terrible thing or rude thing, remember first, I'm not supposed to take this personally. This is really their issue. And then you look at the type of attack that they do to you in order to determine what's the best tool next to use to neutralize that energy, and then transmute it into something that will actually help you.
Mm-hmm. That's very cool. So you're going to be going more into this. For those of you who are lucky enough to get down to the Conscious Life Expo at the LAX Hilton, February 19th, 20th, 21, 22, you're going to go more into this about what's really happening and what we can do about it, right? Because we're all definitely experiencing that. What is wrong with people? Why is everybody going so crazy and freaking out? And staying calm, not taking it personally, breathing, observing. Those are all great things to focus on. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back. We are speaking with Joseph Ernest Martin, who's written a book and has tarot cards called Quest Tarot. You can go to tarot.com and stick with us. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking more about all kinds of other things, including holographic universe and maybe some predictions. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
The viewpoints expressed in this program are not necessarily those of AM 1290 or the Santa Barbara News Press. The program's validity is for you to decide.
Welcome back to the Pamela Oslie Hour. Our special guest today is Joseph Ernest Martin, talking about all kinds of things that are happening on the planet, things that he's going to be talking about at the Conscious Life Expo. I'm going to remind you, we come to you every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific time on KZSB 1290 AM in Santa Barbara, but we're also simulcast live on the web. You can go to auracolors.com, A-U-R-A colors.com. But if you're listening to us, you probably already know that. You can hear us anywhere around the world. We also rerun the show Sunday at 8 a.m., and then we archive all the shows. So we focus on having awesome guests in here that can help you with your life. we're going to be, for the next few months, I'm going to be bringing in quite a few people that are going to kind of give their take on different predictions. And Joseph said that he would do a little bit of that too, just because people are like, oh my gosh, where are we going? And the world's falling apart and it's crazy. And so it's kind of nice to get other people's take, especially psychics and astrologers, their take on where we're going. As long as you keep in mind, yes, we all believe you have free will. You can shift it. You can create an awesome reality in your life, even if it looks like everybody else is falling apart. And I like that Joseph's saying, look, don't take it personally. Keep breathing, stay focused, stay calm. And we're going to be getting into creating your reality. But Joseph, you said that you're going to be doing at the Conscious Life Expo, you're going to be part of it, or you're moderating the divination panel, correct?
Yes, I am.
You're leading it. So just tell me about this title, Can We Heal the Crack in Reality? Man, you've got some real interesting topics, Joseph. What does that mean, and can we heal it?
Well, I put together a panel of amazing people who all come from different perspectives and use different kinds of tools to give to people on how to make this healing happen. We have, Carolyn Coleridge, who's a psychotherapist, Angela Lynn Gibson, who's a metaphysical educator, Marty Rosenblatt, who's a physicist, Deborah Lynn Katz, who's director of the International School of Clairvoyance, Alai Uberud, winner of the award of Best Psychic of 2005. And all these people are coming together to share from those different kinds of perspectives what we can do to actually heal these disparate energies that are many times thrown at us with, volition and intent. The biggest one we talked on just briefly, don't take it personally. The next thing is, or the highest way to play, is the transmutation of that negative energy into something positive. And I like to use, one of the techniques I like to use, though we'll be talking about many techniques on the panel and, of course, in my talk, is you repeat back what that person said to you, but you repeat it back by bracing it back into reality first. So
what is
if
that?
Someone says, you're really being awful today, you're mean, what they're saying is, basically you're a mean person. So the first thing you say is, I hear you. You feel that I'm mean. You put it back into reality. That takes away a lot of the energy of what they're trying to do, and it actually protects you. So,
okay,
what they say.
So they're saying you're a mean person, you're mean, and you're feeding back to them. I hear what you're saying is that you think I'm mean, or
no, you bring it back into reality. When they say you're selfish or you're mean, they're saying you're always selfish or you're always mean. That's the intent of their energy. They're trying to classify you as a thing.
I see.
So the first thing you do is you bring it back into reality. You say, sometimes I can be mean, which would be truthful. All of us sometimes can be a little mean. So we rephrase the intent of their energy back into a reality that is fair for us.
So what do you mean, I want to clarify this too, the title, Can We Heal the Crack in Reality? What's the crack in reality, Joseph? Just things are changing? Just what you described, that we're going into a different sense of reality, or is reality cracking? Or I want to know what that title means.
The old reality no longer applies to the way life is now on the planet. We don't live in an egocentric, planet-centric universe where we're the center of that universe. We are part of a chorus. We are part of a multiverse. We are part of a parallel universe existence. We share this planet, actually, with our alien brothers and sisters. It's that big. And that change has been putting a crack into people's old view of reality. The Earth is no longer flat. The Earth is now round, and this round Earth is part of a community and chorus with other dimensions, realities, and beings. Even the Vatican has said that our alien brothers and sisters, once they make themselves officially known to us, will be welcome into the Catholic or Mother Church. That's a huge thing to say.
And that's one of the talks that I noticed that on your Paranormal Insights show, TV show that people can catch online. You do touch on, UFOs and aliens and or alien brothers, whatever you want to call it. So people can watch more about that too. So basically, what we used to believe about reality is not holding true anymore. And that's why things appear to people seem to be panicked. They don't know what to do with it. There seems to be chaos because we haven't actually, what do you want to say, anchored or engaged, or we don't know how to handle the new reality yet, Joseph, or how would you word it?
Exactly. Whenever we have a huge change like this, it really throws people for a huge loop. 2,000 years ago, Christ came, and Jesus talked about a new philosophy. The old philosophy was an eye for an eye. You hit me, I hit you. You steal my goat, I steal your goat. You kill my friend, I kill your friend. It was an eye for an eye mentality. And then Jesus came along and said, no, that is not the axiom by which we will live anymore. We will now incorporate forgiveness, and that will be the new way that we think and go forward. And that was huge. That was so huge that with some of his other philosophies, they killed him for it. Mm-hmm. And now we're at the apex of a new philosophy, a new idea about reality, which is just as earth-shaking, which is causing people to kill each other over, because they've accepted, well, forgiveness, of course, right? That's a great philosophy. But what if the new reality is you create your new reality? You create your universe. You don't need to forgive because you're the creator of your experiences.
Mm-hmm. Joseph, that is one of my all-time favorite subjects, and that is huge. And so many people, you talk about this in one of your talks too, so many people resist that because we've been in the habit of blaming or feeling victim. And when you tell people they create their own reality, have you seen the response of like, well, you're blaming me. You're blaming me. You're making me a bad person. And I wouldn't have created cancer. I wouldn't have created somebody beating me up. So how do you respond to that? Because I agree with you. I honestly believe the consciousness is shifting to realizing we create our reality. So what do you say to people that are freaked out about that idea?
If you have a closed or narrow view, it does feel blaming. It feels like, well, now it's my fault again. However, if you have a real worldview that encompasses multiple existence, multiple realities, parallel universes, the scientists out at CERN and the Hadron Collider and what they're discovering, the dark matter theories of how consciousness may be affecting all of us in a connected way, then you must take responsibility for that reality you're not only creating directly for yourself, but co-creating with others. So the good news about that, the really good news, is if you created it, you can uncreate it. You're no longer a victim. There is no more victimhood. If you have the power to make it happen, you have the power to change it. And that's the exciting direction that we're going.
Mm. And, there's a lot of people out there that are still holding on to the eye for the eye, tooth for a tooth thing,
Sure.
What's the word I want? Retaliation, getting back. There's still some of that old consciousness still on the planet. Not everybody has even kicked into love thy neighbor, forgive, although that is the new teaching. Now, how long is it going to take us, or what do you see coming? Because a lot of people are saying the same thing. What do you see coming, and how long it's going to take us to really kick into we create our own reality? Because boy, we've lived so long with the old one that we're separate from it. We didn't create it. What do you see out there about the shift that's happening?
I believe a number of things are going to be happening. And you were asking about predictions, and here are actually some of the world predictions that will be happening. I'm not the only one saying these things, but I'm one of many voices who believe that this is absolutely true for us in our future. One is that we are going to have a new world teacher be born and step up, a teacher like Jesus. Some call that teacher Maitreya, some by other names. That teacher is going to come up and is going to spearhead in a way people can understand this new movement. Also, we are going to have within our lifetime concrete, real proof of alien existence and interaction on our planet within our lifetime, you and me. That, and along with this new paradigm, are going to start shaking away the old dust and blocked views of older generations, allowing this new idea about the nature of reality to actually become manifest. And if we're going to take a simpler way to view that, when airplanes first started, there were barf bags in every single seat of the airplane because people were not accustomed to the idea of flight, and simply getting on an airplane would make them sick. But now, you don't even see a bag at every chair because people are so relaxed and have accepted the idea of flight, they no longer get sick over it. And this is the same kind of thing we're going through now.
That's a great story, great analogy. And so are you optimistic about the future?
I am incredibly optimistic. The road's going to be bumpy because the road to growth is always bumpy because people resist and hang on to old ways. However, there's enough of us light workers like yourself, people that are going to be on the divination panel, like myself, out there actively working to make the world a better place through not only act and deed, but through education and thought, which is what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny, Joseph. I just sent out a newsletter. I'll probably be posting it on Facebook too, a newsletter to my tens of thousands of people on my list with predictions because people had asked me for them, and they were all positive. They were all like, yes, it's going to be bumpy, but here's positive. I was shocked at how many people in anger wrote back and said, how dare you? This can't be true. You're putting your head in the sand. There's so many atrocities going on right now. How could you be positive? I was like, wow. So it's like I always tell people, argue for your limitations and they're yours. And parallel universes, I even wrote about parallel universes at the end of the article talking about how we can choose. So talk to me a little bit about what you know about parallel universes since you brought it up.
Well, you brought up a really great point on why people get angry. Because they say, the atrocities. Being self-creating, creating your own universe, does not absolve you from choosing the karma you want to create for yourself. You could say, my neighbor's house burned down. Well, it's not my fault. It's their karma. Why should I do anything? You not doing something creates your karma. This is about being awake and choosing the karma you want to create, the life, the future, the universe you want to create and live in. That's why we're good to people. That's one of the reasons why we're good. We create our universe by what we do and what we do not do. Whether or not it's other people's karma, it's immaterial. Mm-hmm. What matters is what we do. Mm-hmm. I feel that so strongly that I, like you, Pamela, have had big discussions and, flat out, verbal debates with people who are so entrenched in the old way, they just don't want to give it up. Mm-hmm. But they're going to have to because you can't fight growth. Change happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and I've told people, you know what, there's so many people out there bashing and touting fear and the end of the world and destruction and terrorism. It's like it's made people angry, it's made people afraid, and it's made people not caring about their neighbor. They just go, well, what's the use then? So my point is, if you focus on the solutions, you create more solutions. You focus on the problems, you're just going to create more fear and problems. So my goal is always to use the positive to help create the positive outcomes. We are going to take a quick little break. We're going to come back. I can't believe this is going this fast. We're going to come back and have some last words with Joseph Ernest Martin. You can go to questtarot.com, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Pam Oslie with you today with our special guest, Joseph Ernest Martin. You can go to his website, Quest, Quest, Tarot, TAROT.com. Check out all the events he's got going on. Check out his show, Paranormal Insights. So, Joseph, you are going to be speaking at the Conscious Life Expo. I'm just going to tell people again, people in California, we're lucky because we get to do that. Arizona, you're not that far away. The Expo, Conscious Life Expo, lots of speakers, and we're going to be having a bunch of them on the show because it's just a great opportunity to hear from some of these amazing thinkers. You are going to be running the panel, the divination panel, Can We Heal the Crack in Reality, on Saturday, February 20th from 4 to 6 p.m. People can come hear about how to, how we can heal all this, how we can help this shift. On Sunday, February 21st from 10 to 11 a.m., you're going to be talking about please no more crazy people. What you can do to neutralize the negativity, what you can do, different steps you can do to basically make it through this crazy times, right?
That's exactly true.
Good. So, Expo, you can go to the Conscious Life Expo website, too, and look at all the remarkable speakers that they've got coming. Now, talk to us a little bit more about Paranormal Insights, your online and your TV show. People can watch it online, but it's also a TV show for those of us in California. And you just won 5 Video Excellence Awards for this show. So give us a...
Absolutely. We've just gotten our 5th finalist award, and we're up for a first place award for video excellence this year. And I'm just so proud about that because we put so much time in writing, producing, all of that. It's just incredible. I mean, believe it or not, we probably write 2,000 words of content for each and every show we do. And that's because we want to give people as much information and as much tools as possible to help people actually have a better life. Because, I don't know about you, but, I'm like a lot of people where, I find certain things very interesting, but I'd much rather learn something to make my life better. That makes me happier.
Right. Well, and you've got some really fascinating topics on the show, which is what I got a kick out of. I love that. I mean, there's one video, everyone, is called the Holographic Universe. And that was fascinating to me because, are we... Is that real? Are we real? Is it computer generated? Is it consciousness generated? So that's a fun video. You can go find that right now on your website, Quest Tarot, right? They can connect to it on that, right?
You betcha.
That's where I found it, I'm pretty sure. So you can go find that. Go ahead.
Oh, and you can find me on Facebook. Just look for my full name, Joseph Ernest Martin. You'll find me there. Also, Paranormal Insights has a page there. So lots of information there. I know you were asking about the holographic universe, and a real wacky thing that appears as though it may actually be scientifically true. Because Stephen Hawking and others now have said time appears as though it all exists at once. Mm-hmm. When you put your energy and intent into changing your judgments and perceptions of the past, it will change your future. Because your past actually will change. It energetically changes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you change along with it.
Yeah, that's why I love these topics. They're advanced. I know a lot of you feel like, oh, Guy, it's above my head and I don't understand this stuff, but you actually explain things pretty easily in your conversations on your show, which is another cool thing about you, Joseph. It's easy to understand. And I love, the whole topic about consciousness. So if people don't want to get involved in it, it's like, well, wait, are we computer-generated reality and we're not really real, but are we consciousness generated reality, and we can change our reality, and that's what we're about. And I love that you talk about this is where we're headed. This is what's up. This is the new reality. So in the last few minutes that we have here, Joseph, what's the most important thing you would love people to know?
I would really love people to know that it's important that we act out of a place of love, and I know that's so cliched, but act out of a place of love and intelligence together. We don't want to be a doormat. We don't want to co-create these terrible scenarios with people because we're trying to be nice. We want to now actively create the real reality that we want to live in daily through our interactions. And there is no shame in looking at someone and saying, excuse me, what you just said is very offensive. Let me tell you why, and let me give you an idea of what may be a better way to look at that. That is not a problem. We're not in the 50s anymore. We're in the 20th century, absolutely, well, the 21st century, absolutely. So we want to be actively creating the reality we want to live in with others, and that means we have to actually open our mouths and tell people to come along, jump in the pool, the water's fine, and show them by example what that looks through by acting through love.
And then what I find fun, Joseph, is I've noticed that I don't even have to say things to people anymore. I go, now what am I doing in that parallel universe where people are being mean and critical? How about if I shift my thinking, my beliefs, my focus, my intention, and I find myself in a different universe where people are not acting that way? So we don't have to be out there hitting anybody over the head. We can teach by example. We can shift our own beliefs. And just what you said, you change the past, which changes your future, which also it creates a different present.
And it's so much easier than people realize. It does take a little bravery at first, but once you start getting that rhythm down, it becomes so much fun because you can see reality change for the better right in front of you.
And you have to let go of the old stories, right, Joseph? You can't hold on to, yeah, but he hurt me, so I'm going to get even. You have to be willing to let go of the old stories and consider that maybe it's true that you create your own reality. So, Joseph, thank you so much. Again, everyone, Joseph Ernest Martin. You can check out his website, questtarot.com. You can check out his book and the package with the book and the tarot cards. Do your own readings, your own divination. You can get a reading from Joseph. You can attend the Conscious Life Expo. Look at how many tools you have out there, everyone, for improving your life, for getting support. If you go, I don't know how to do it, or I feel alone. There's so many people at these expos, or, with Joseph's TV show. There's all kinds of options for you now. So, Joseph, thank you so much for being willing to be out there to help people, to speak your truth, to kind of upset the status quo and give people tools on what they can do to change and improve their lives.
Well, it's a joy to be working with you and on your team.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. Remember, the show is rerun again on Sunday at 8 a.m. And next week, we are going to have Uta Soltner on. We're going to do a little astrology predictions here, and how we can make the best out of these challenging times since, everything's changing. And, like Joseph said, things can get a little rocky when things are changing. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll be back with you next week. Bye-bye.
AM 1290's quantum psychic Pam Oslie, thank you for your time and open mind in furthering the discussion of bringing the unknown to light in our daily lives, where spirit and science evolve and revolve around each other. The viewpoints expressed in this program are not necessarily those of AM 1290 or the Santa Barbara News Press. The program's validity is for you to decide. Yet, a leap forward in mankind's expanding consciousness requires a look within. Thanks for making the leap. 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 Leap.